Hello, hello, hello. Good evening to everyone that is watching today. Um, I am so happy that we are all here. Thank you all so much for joining us. Welcome to Purpose Over Pain podcast. I am your host, BJ. I have my resident co-host who I am loving every single day, Miss Tiff. How you doing, Tiff? We sharing the mic. We got a little bit different. Oh yeah, oh yeah. So this is our episode. This is our Father's Day episode. Y'all know that, as I represent for the ladies, I'm also gonna represent for the men. I am non-biased sometimes.
That is literally the exact meaning. Opposite meaning. Non-biased, that means all the time.
Hey, sometimes, and then sometimes, you gotta pick a side. But hey, not what to expect. You know what I'm talking about? But today is the episode. It's our Father's Day episode. This one is for the Zaddies. I got a couple of Zaddies in the building. No. So today we're gonna discuss the misconceptions of Black fatherhood. We're gonna, try to figure out how we can maybe get these kids back on track. We're gonna talk about a lot of stuff. So I kind of prepped them and primed them a little bit earlier, so I think they know what to expect. Still don't. But let's go ahead and introduce one by one. Go ahead.
Will.
Prince.
Can Beats. You can join me every morning at the Can Beats breakfast sandwich. Just making sure I drop that in there.
Absolutely.
Hey, I'm just going to use every opportunity I can.
Listen. I am not against it. We support and promote here.
Right. Ty, aka Ty the Guy, aka Mr. Etc.
Okay.
It's your boy Dougie Fresh, aka Hollywood Trippy, 1/3 of NWO podcast.
And the period. So thank you, fellas, all for joining me here. This is a new little setup that we got going on because we wanted to make sure we can fit everybody in. So I definitely appreciate y'all for being here and taking y'all time. So all of the fellas here, of course, they are Zaddies. And let's dive right into it. So as I was looking at, I was kind of looking up the misconceptions of Black men, the misconceptions of fathers. And the main thing that I read was the biggest misconception is that fathers, Black fathers, are not as active in their children's lives. And, with their counterparts, white men, Indian men, Mexican men. And it really stood out to me that when looking at those statistics, you actually saw that Black men are ranking on top. You all are very much more involved in your children's lives, much more than what society would like us to believe. How do you all feel about that?
Well, first, it's an old narrative because probably most of us didn't have fathers, like active fathers, the way that people view it right now. But anybody that I hang out with right now are very active in their kids' lives. So that's the first thing. It's an old narrative, maybe 70s, 80s, 90s, as far as the 2000s and up.
I would say that statistic is more based off what they classically call marriage, and that the father is in the home, right? So they consider a father being in the home with the mother being more active, when typically, some of my white friends and some of my friends of other races, their fathers was in the home, but their father was working. Dude came home, he sat in his study or whatever he did, and they didn't even see dude. You know what I'm saying? So that statistic is all backwards. But we also got to remember, like, where the statistic is coming from. It typically comes from others or scorned mothers. Like, hell, I can talk about one of my situations. I'm not gonna put her name up out there, but dude, she fights tooth and nail to keep me away from my son. because of whatever she feeling. So sometimes those situations also playing a role in it, where, how can I put this without sounding jaded or angry?
Mm-mm.
Where that affects that narrative, because let's say she gets a survey. Oh well, how active is the father in it? Or he goes to court. Like how active in the father is. So it depends on whether or not the father can go to work, or if the father ends up in jail because he's behind on child support because he's being put on child support. There's a bunch of different reasons for those narratives that are out there, but 98% of it is all inaccurate.
Absolutely. And I definitely like how you put that it's, it can be, and we will talk about that too, that it can be controlled not only by some outside sources, but it can be controlled by the very people that we have right in our circle, our children's mothers. Go ahead. You wanted to say something?
Um, being a former school administrator, I was an administrator of a couple of schools where I would see more fathers than I would see mothers, specifically black fathers, dropping kids off, picking them up, coming to conferences and whatnot. So I was privy to seeing that way before that misconception was revealed. Um, and still trying to figure out where the criteria is for involved. Like, what does that actually mean? And what is, that's very kind of convoluted to a certain extent.
Mhm.
Like, um, I've been a part of a few different dynamics as far as, growing up in my with, you said not having a father. I had variations of such with stepfathers and uncles and all that. I mean, involvement is involvement with black men, and I think we
Right.
should value it all.
Hmm.
I believe that it's mainly stemming from an agenda base, is that oftentimes we kind of conform to what the narrative already is. So men look at it like, well, they already believe the fathers ain't around anyway, so they kind of conform and adjust to that type of saying. For instance, we look at prison, right? They were promoted there's more black men in prison than there are in college, and that's a false narrative. But they push the prison base, so when they growing up and they seeing what they see in the neighborhoods, they kind of conform and become a product of that environment because they believe that this is their end game. You know what I'm saying? So I believe that it's our job as African Americans to take over the media. Now that we have social media, we become the media. If you promote more, when you speak about more positivity, you walk in that, and you can actually push the positive agenda. It kind of dims the light on what the negative narrative is, and nobody else can say, you know what I'm saying, what's going on with us. And I believe I said it on the past podcast that it stemmed back from the whole narrative back then when they used to say that the black women were abused in their homes, and that was not the case. That was a false narrative. The white women were abused in their homes. They did not have the voice. They couldn't speak up when they knew their husbands was sleeping with those black women, creating the mixed babies and stuff. They had no power. So they went out and did the individual woman's right type of thing that pulled the black woman out of the home and made it more of a personal agenda than a family agenda. I remember having this debate with a woman before, and I said, if you look at the man who was already in position, his goal was fighting for the family. That involved the woman, which was the wife, and the children, girl and boy. When the woman went out with her agenda, it was just for women. It had nothing to do with the family base. So the white women came, spit what they spit into the black woman's ear. They took the agenda and brought it back home, and that drove men outside of the home because men don't fight for a position that we was made for. So
I'm just thinking, you thinking the agenda. How can that even be mathematically possible, being that we're the minority in the nation?
Well, they try to say per capita.
We're the majority in every statistic, but we're the minority in the population.
Yeah, they use that word per capita to make it seem worse than what it is. And then to piggyback off what you were saying, the women's movement right didn't remove the woman from the home; it ejected the father from the home, right? And then what happened is black men who were husbands were no longer husbands, right? The woman's husband became the government, right? Because if the government can replace the man's income with welfare, you know what I'm saying, the man's income that paid for the rent or bought the house with public housing, right? Now that's that, right? But to get that though, right? But to get that was the biggest thing. The man couldn't be there. Oh no, you can't have no. If I'm gonna do this, you can't have no man here. You know, so that's that like let's kind of nail that right, you know, where it was, because and then going back to what you're saying, the women's right movement had nothing to do with black women, and black women were bamboozled. And I'm gonna say that, and I'm gonna stand on it. Y'all were bamboozled into fighting a white woman's fight that had nothing, because black men, like, what was we lording over? We was in the same exact position as you. What was we lording over? You know what I'm saying? You know, so they just want to be paid as much as their white man. That's it. But they went like, y'all don't need a man. They still wanted their man. They told y'all didn't need no man. And then that stuck, and it just rolled over, snowballed is the best way to put it.
Well, I like what they said about the narrative. Well, they were saying how the old narrative was that, black fathers are not in the home, but with social media, and, we talk about how social media sometimes has a negative, light on different things. But with black fathers, I have noticed an uptick in the positivity where, you guys are broadcasted positively, on social media. And I do see, and you don't want to call it trendy, but it's good that it's becoming more popular, I guess, to see more black fathers are in the home. And I guess with social media, you are able to see, okay, well, black fathers, there are single fathers, there are different types of homes, so I will say that that's been on the rise.
And it's beautiful to see, though, right? Because black men generally don't get celebrated in that light. So to be able to see that and get celebrated as being a black father, as being an active parent, just being around, or being involved in everyday life, to be able to get celebrated for that it's a great feeling to see that.
Absolutely. And like you hear things all the time, and I see it a lot. I'm not gonna give nobody no applause for doing something that they already should be doing. And I think for me, that is really the most damaging thing, because of course so they gonna call me a pick me. I really don't give a damn. But I feel like as black men, you all have so much against you already. And I think that, so when it even comes down to the I guess you can say maybe the easiest thing, or the thing that we feel that you should already be doing, why not celebrate you all? Why not say, in the world that's telling us that I'm not supposed to be, having a active relationship with my kid. I'm supposed to be out doing this, that, and the third, without being with my kid. That's hard. That's hard on y'all mentally. All of that. So I absolutely get it. And like some of the comments said, definitely we want to try to change the narrative. A lot of things that we talk about on this show, we talk about it in fun, laughing, joking, but really, honestly, I really want to change the narrative that we ourselves have of our own people. We cause a lot of destruction to ourselves just by the way that we think about ourselves. Go ahead.
Yeah. So one of the things is, like, I'm sitting up here thinking while everyone's talking, the saddest part about this whole thing is that we have to put the label black father on it so that we can even get noticed.
Yeah.
That in itself, like, the day should and will come when we just noticed as fathers, where you don't have to be like, oh yeah, black father, it is black father. But we need that, because that's to combat the narrative that's already out there. So I'm not saying stop. You know what I'm saying? We got to go harder, because it's dope when, black women celebrate black men, and black women show love to black men as fathers.
We love y'all. They like y'all to believe that we don't, but we love y'all.
I would just hear just just with when Sherman Phoenix had their Father's Day event, and it was beautiful. Like, it felt special. You know what I'm saying? Like, to have people lay out all the, nice looking stuff. They had cookies, black men with different hues and different hairstyles. It was dope. I was like, this is cool. How many years have they had this? I was like, didn't even know. But that in itself feels good. Like, we shouldn't have to put black father in front of stuff, but through the narratives that's been out there, whether it's in America, like Latin America, whatever it be, the black man has been attacked a lot, and especially their fatherhood and their strength. We've been made to look stupid, look like the clown, look like we're lazy. Most of us just smoke weed all day, or we be in the house. Like, Now I could probably say we all know, the gigolo. Or back, you could go back as far as the 70s and 80s with the welfare pimps.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And I could probably say we all know at least one. You know what I'm saying? Like dude that stayed at the home or had an uncle that was a welfare pimp. But for the most part, most of the men that I knew were stand-up dudes. Even the ones that were hustlers, they would stand up men when it came to their kids.
And when it came down to their kids, absolutely.
Oh, so
question was, what is a welfare pimp?
I'm putting one of my uncles on blast right now because he had 15 kids. And not like dead ass. My uncle had 15 kids. And the purpose of the welfare pimp was to have women have babies with women, and then since they couldn't be in the home, after a certain age, welfare would stop providing for the child. So they would actually make bargains with women, have kids with the women, so they can get a portion of that money. So my uncle had 15 kids with like 6 different women.
Well, you learn some shit every goddamn day. Listen. No, like
y'all ain't never heard of welfare pimp?
When he said it,
is that a Chicago thing only? Like
I think so.
I understood exactly what
that's a Chicago. You from the city too, then, so you get it. Okay.
Well,
okay.
See, I figured what you were saying, but not to the capacity of I'm gonna have a couple different 15 babies. I wasn't thinking that to that extreme. God damn.
Yeah. I mean, but also there were women who would pimp the welfare system in that manner. Oh, yeah. One of my best friends growing up, like, and we can hop off this in a minute, but his mom, and legit, this is one reason like why they don't get along today. I'm not gonna blast him on this because I know he watches this podcast. He gonna be upset with me, but his mom had his sister and his brother, you know what I'm saying, in intervals, because when he hit 8, you know what I'm saying, the city stopped paying for him. You know what I'm saying? So to keep her place to stay, to keep that money rolling in, you know what I'm saying, so she can get a check and feed them, she hollered at a dude. She was like, yeah, we got to ball the dude life, little buddy life. Like, man, I just need to get knocked up so that I can keep this going. So like those things happen.
Yeah, like I need a kid. I need to give me a kid. So
we both in our 40s now, though. Like,
right.
Like it's shit like that happened.
Right.
Shit like that happened.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? I'm from the trap, man. My bad. Like I'm from Green Greens, bro. I don't know what y'all did, but I'm from the Greens, man. That stuff happened.
I mean,
it happened.
I might know who you're talking about because I got a best friend in Chicago, and her daddy is from the Greens.
And I promise
we
you,
talk later. I guarantee.
Listen,
if me and you know exactly.
Him and all 4 of his siblings, they all 8 years apart. Like dead ass serious. Like this is not a game. They 8 years apart. No, don't start with a V. I got a cousin whose name starts with a V, but he no longer here, bless his soul.
Okay, all right. So when we talk about and one of you all touched on it, where you have the mother of the child who makes it extremely hard for you to even deal with your child and have a relationship with your child. So you guys don't know, I was in a relationship with someone who actually had custody of his children. And so just seeing how that process kind of played out, it was always interesting to me, because for me, I could never understand allowing my children's, having to actually lose custody and give up my children. I should say that. Because I did one of my children, I let him go and live with his dad. So
shout out to you for that.
That was dope.
I mean,
dope.
Absolutely.
That's valid.
I feel like, I would much rather have, don't give me no money. Come and get them. And I have 4 and I have 3 fathers. So, you know what I'm saying? Come and get them. Don't, you know what I'm saying? I'm straight over here. You know what I'm saying? Because what I'm getting is McDonald's money. You know what I'm saying? Just come and get them. We straight over here. So when you have a mother who is on some bullshit, I'm just gonna call it what it is.
Thank you.
How do you deal with that? Like mentally, like how do you deal with that? Because I know it has to attack your mental first off.
Before I talk, anybody else got a difficult baby mama up here?
Because you know we got a story.
My
what does that look like when they're being difficult? What does that look like?
I don't think it's the same for every dude. Like,
right.
Like some dudes got crazy baby mamas. Some dudes just got like, my baby mama is not crazy. She not gonna come and bust my ties. She ain't gonna pull up on me with no girl. She could give 2 fucks less who the hell I'm fucking on. As long as she know it ain't her. You know what I'm saying? But her thing is she know I love my child. She knows I love my baby to death. So everything she does is purposely going to be exclusionary. You know what I'm saying? Exclusionary. I think that's the word, right?
And I think that's even more damaging.
So I mean, even when it came, because my youngest son, he has autism. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I want to be involved in that. I couldn't get none of that information. When I tried to get it, well, she made it difficult. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
She didn't allow me to get him for like no holiday, my birthday. She didn't answer none of my phone calls for like 3-4 months straight. You know what I'm saying? Now her family on the other end, they thinking like, oh, this nigga a bad daddy. This nigga a bad daddy, right? And then once we got to court though, it was a totally different story. She was like, oh, well, the judge literally asked, like, well, where does the child be? She was like, at my house. I was like, well, to be honest, like, I got proof that I've been text messenger routinely all the time trying to get my child, and she didn't answer. You know what I'm saying? So it's not for the fact of me not being there. It's for the fact that she hasn't been, answering the phone or replying to anything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So now we have a court order to where, saying like along, and this is what they do to you in the system. As long as you give notice. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna give your ass a whole month's notice. These are the days I'm picking up my son. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And then she tried to ignore it one time, and I hit her. I was like, you do know that you got to stand on your shit as a man. Like, you do know you're in violation of the order, because like I could technically go to the judge and tell him like you trying to keep your child away from me, and that makes you a felon. At that moment in time.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
So you got a court order.
Yeah.
I got one too. I got joint custody and placement. Right. So what does your court order look like? Do you have specifically a time that you get in? A time?
No. So mine, like, I could get my child whenever I want to.
Right. You just have to give notice.
I just got to give notice. Mm-hmm. Like notice. So I'm like, good notice is a week.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm giving more than that. And then since she tried to pull that card, she was like, well, no, we're going to communicate through email, and you can talk to my mom and my brother. Now you got your mom and your brother on the same bullshit now.
Right.
You know
so
what I'm
how
saying?
does that, so when you're dealing with that though, like, because that's a lot, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Especially when if you have multiple children and you have one where you're unable to see, or you know what I'm saying? And then the other one, you can get all of them, and it's like, you want to have your kids. Like, how does that affect you mentally? Like,
it's
I
a
would
drain.
think that it would affect you on a daily basis.
It's a mental and it's spiritual drain. Like, I can't lie, because there's days like today, like I'm supposed to have them today. I was gonna bring them on the podcast, right? You know what I'm saying? Because it was like Father's Day podcast. I could bring my baby. You know what I'm saying? We talk, and it'll be a whole dope situation. I'm supposed to get them on the weekends anyways, right? Y'all see my baby anywhere?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So just like I said, I sent that message just so you understand, to her mama, and her brother, just so you understand. Like, I've been trying to reach out to y'all to get Max. And I'm gonna take non-answer or no reply as that you're trying to keep them away from me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm in the process of lowering up right now.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I'm not gonna play with you about my kid.
Right.
I don't know. I don't understand like what y'all do, but I don't. You know what I'm saying? I don't roll like that. Like, I'm a whole Papa Bear, and I don't fuck around when it comes to my babies.
Right. And I think that's very commendable, because that additional step is something that a lot of fathers they overlook, or they either don't know how far they can go. Like, hey, you have rights as well. You are able to fight for your child. Like, that's your seed. Like, you did that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to be in your child's life, so you have to go the additional step, and it's a sad commentary. It always will be, but I think it's something, unfortunately, that it's a commentary that won't end, I don't think. Because I think that there's still people, or still men, who they get to a point and they're just like, I'm tired.
You get broken.
Yeah, that's right.
So the light at the end of the tunnel is I'm father of 3, damn near grown, 2 grown, 1 close.
Ooh, we love to go close to growns.
But 26, 20, 16. So 16, she'll be 17 this year.
Mm-hmm.
They, at this point, because of the relationship that has been built over the years, they choose to come and see and be with me. So they make that decision. So you don't have to worry about court orders. So there's a light at the end of the tunnel. After all the courts and all the third parties are involved, you don't have to,
Yeah.
You have that relationship with them. They,
absolutely.
It's what it is.
It's different for me because, like I said, I got joint custody. By the way, paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
Paperwork. And
absolutely.
The reason why I asked you, do you have specific times and dates? My court order says 1 week on, 1 week off, with the exchange date being Saturday at 5 p.m. So it's a specific time.
Mm-hmm.
Mine only has one specific clause that if the person goes beyond I think 16 hours, then they're in violation and they're committing a felony at that moment in time. It's kidnapping if you go over 16 hours beyond the return time.
Okay. And how long have you been on that same court order?
2 months now. 2 months.
I've had my court order for about 10 years.
Okay.
And
everything
was in the beginning. It was all right. The reason that I took my BM to court, because it was my motion. Mm-hmm. The reason that I took her to court in the first place is because she tried to use you're going to have to take me to court. You're going to have to do this. You're going to have to do that. And it was okay for the first few years and stuff like that. But even right now, like I don't have an address for my daughter. I don't have a phone number. I've bought cell phones for my children.
So this is a really, 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 really good thing about that. Once you're, and it sucks that we got to get the court system involved. But the really cool thing about that is that you don't have to know where she stays at, because as long as she's in the state of Wisconsin, right? Wisconsin will find her.
Absolutely.
But she's not in the state of Wisconsin anymore.
Oh, she then so she
like,
left with your child, then it's kidnapping at that moment in time.
It's so and this is the thing that I think that it's good it is good to discuss. Because I think that for you, your situation is a little bit different because now we're talking about different states.
I'm going to give him some game real quick.
So hold on 1 second, because it's handled a little bit differently. But I think that you still have to make sure that maybe look into the information on whatever state she's in, to see how that works out.
Process.
Go ahead.
I mean, we got our process.
Yeah.
She might be watching, so I ain't gonna say everything.
Oh yeah, we definitely don't. We definitely don't want you. But we don't want you saying too much.
There's ways if you know certain information about your child. Certain information just can't be changed. Right. So if you know certain information, there's ways you can find your child. If you know what state your child is in, then the process will be to go to that system and work it out in that manner, in which, like, now the mother of the child has become a kidnapper. Right. And that does not bode well for her in the long run, because you're not supposed to do that. You're technically not supposed to even leave the state with the child. Right.
So we're gonna let y'all talk about that a little bit after, because we don't want to get too deep into all of that logistic stuff. But definitely both of you all, I definitely hope that you get this situation worked out with your kids. I will never say that it's okay to keep your kid away from their father. Of course, unless there is, the child is in danger. Did you have something to say?
Yeah, my situation was kind of different because it kind of came through a divorce. So we having to dilly up everything, but this is where the bitterness kind of really set in. The last conversation me and her had before I actually physically left the home was me having to call her to tell her I wasn't coming back because of the fact of the risk that could happen, and my kids, see everything. So I had to do that over the phone. But the last word she said to me is that it's cool because I'm gonna make you hurt the way I'm hurting right now. You know what I'm saying? So she knows, like how you said, my kids is my world. That's it. That's all. I don't care about nothing else but them. So eventually, like during the divorce, she's pushing every other weekend. I'm already looking like, of course, the aggressive and everything. So what I did was put her to the side. I said, okay, wherever you want. I cut her a nice check because they was trying to give her half, but I cut her a nice check. Told her, look, you know what I'm saying, what do you want? Whatever you want, I'm agreed to, because how I seen it was like, yeah, you emotional right now, but been together over 10 years. You know what I'm saying? You've seen me raise my kids, put more time in, all that. So it was without questioning what type of father that I was.
Right.
So I didn't think that you would take it anywhere, you know what I'm saying, extra, but it literally, they ruled for every other weekend, which was a problem for me. You know what I'm saying? Because technically that's about 6 days out of a month. That's a problem to come from every day to every day. So the back end of that, how you spoke about it, the challenges that come mentally and spiritually. Mentally, for me, it put me in a bad space. I literally was in a dark place, mentally, very bad emotionally. And it literally took God to pull me and get me to trust him that he was going to step in and do what he have to do. I'm a godly man. So me crying out to him, put it to a place to where he gave me a plan.
Right.
So he kind of, it was 7 years that I had to go through that whole battle. And I'm talking about calling to ask for my kids, thinking that, again, outside of this order, we good. My kids want to see, you know what I'm saying? I want to see them. So I can call you, say, yeah, I'm gonna have a kid. Can I have them? Oh, they busy. Oh, they sick. Or, they got this going on. You know what I'm saying? Like the picture is being painted like I'm not there. You know what I'm saying? But I'm putting in the efforts, and I can only do so much because the courts have already judged based on the divorce.
And I think,
so
real quick, I'm sorry. I think that that's also something that's very damaging. I just thought about that while you were talking, that a lot of times I know that as women, we can go out and we can say, oh, my baby daddy, he a bad baby daddy. He don't do nothing. He don't do what he's supposed to do. And that's okay. That's acceptable. But then when it comes down to a man speaking out and saying, my baby mama ain't shit, or, whatever, it's like, I've seen it where men are verbally attacked. Men are literally attacked. But then when you think about it and you're like, no, I don't care what type of, mother that she may be. I think that if she's keeping her child away from their father, I'm not going to go as far, oh, you ain't shit. But we know that there are some ain't shit baby mamas.
I mean, that goes
children of mothers, however y'all want to say.
That goes to that narrative that women are allowed to feel what they feel and act how they act because they feel that way. That's lack of accountability.
Ooh, that's a whole nother show.
That's no, but it fits in with the narrative of what we're talking about. Because if you're allowed to act and say and do what you want to do because you feel that way, it don't got to be accurate. It don't got to be based in fact. It's based in feeling and based in emotion. And then so when a man says something, no, you're not supposed to act off emotion. You're not supposed to have emotion. You're not supposed to feel that way. So I'm not supposed to love my kids. I'm not supposed to be hurting that I can't see my baby right now. You know what I'm saying?
And I want to add to this part because it was a turnaround during this transition. So in 2020, me being at a bad space, they never to offer myself, like it was that bad. I remember God telling me, he said, give me one more chance. I went in, cried out to him. He said, I'm going to heal the land in that area. He said, I just need you to trust me. 2 years after that, this year, actually, I have the custody of her. You know what I'm saying? And
that's what's up.
Much better situation to where we can conversate now. It put the mom in a space to where she has to be accountable because my daughter now have seen who's the problem was. My daughter's 13 years old, always been advanced for her age. So she caught on the behavior to where it affect her now and how she moved to where she just had to get from under the roof. And now, you know what I'm saying? She's in a more stable environment, in a better situation. And it's looking like, again, it's going to be a primary permanent thing. So
and that's wonderful. And
that's Congratulations
one
to you,
thing
man.
that I
Yeah,
always
appreciate that.
say, and I've always said that when children grow up, as they grow up, the mamas, if you have an ain't shit daddy, you don't have to do nothing. Literally, you don't have to do anything but sit back, because they gonna know. The children will know, my daddy fucked up. With my kids' fathers, I listen, I don't say not a negative thing. As a matter of fact, my daughter just posted something which she thought it was funny. I thought it was funny in regards to Father's Day, but I told her to take it down. And I told her to take it down because I don't want your dad to look at that and to say, oh, well, you know what I'm saying? That's how you feel. I've had conversations with their dad in regards to the way that he communicates and deals with my children. My thing is, he said to me, and I don't give a damn. He said to me, well, if they ain't calling me, I ain't calling them. They're children. And in that moment, in that moment, I was working. I work from home. But in that moment, I had to take a step away from my desk. And I have not raised my voice at that man in years. Okay. I had to tell him that is the most idiotic thing that you can absolutely say about your child. That is a child. You know what I'm saying? That is a child.
It's 100%.
That is your responsibility. As the father, you're a protector, provider, all of that good stuff. I don't give a damn if this boy calls you and only calls you in regards to, can I get $15? You do not live in the same state as him. You do not have a relationship with him. You know what I'm saying? So at the very least, get a man the $15. And how was your day, son? You getting some cootie yet? I mean, something. You know what I'm saying? Give him something.
Yeah, I think like first and foremost, that's 100% unacceptable. I hate hearing that, because as a parent, it's not the child's job to build that relationship. You should have been building that relationship as they've been growing up, and then not have to worry about that later in life.
Yeah.
But it comes from a spot of black men wanting to be accepted, right? They want that feeling of recognition, like, okay, they do love me. You know what I mean? They want to feel that, and I mean, it's not making that accepting of the behavior, but it's just that's the explanation.
Yeah,
that's the thought process I see when it comes to that.
I'm a firm believer in the work that you put in when they're younger pay benefits when they're older.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it was the craziest thing is that like so my 13-year-old, right, my oldest child, I paid for his phone. That little motherfucker never called me. Unless it's for some money or they go take them to the movie. So like but they kids were like, so like, but I don't hold that over him because I know he a child. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna call him. Hey, Bubba, how you doing? You had a good day at school? What's popping?
Yeah.
You watching the new anime? Or you want to slide over Daddy crib and we can watch that together this weekend? Yeah, cool. That's my little buddy. You know what I'm saying? That like, whoa. Then he sends me TikToks that he makes and shit like that. And he asked me, "Is this cool, Daddy?" Because I ain't gonna lie, I'm from the hood, so my son is a whole geek. That shit warms my heart to death. Like,
I love it.
like oh, you ain't out there at 13 busting heads and whipping? Like, yes, yes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, cause like I grew up on 21st and Concordia, not that far from here. If anyone grew up over there, like at 13, you was busting heads and selling dope. If you wasn't doing that, you was getting your head bust.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So to see the contrast in that, like, that's why I don't. That when you told me that, I don't know your child's father, but that shit is that.
I mean,
I can't even talk straight. That's how upset I am.
Yeah, and it messed me up. It messed me up because when he said that to me, he said, you do this, you get mad like every 5 years. I said, nigga, you mad at me cussing you out every 5 years? It's men that's dealing with worse. And all that I'm cussing you out about is to have a relationship. I'm not asking you for no money. I'm not asking you, like, you know what I'm saying? If the kids come to me, if I don't have it, I tell the kids, ask your daddy. If I don't have it, ask them. I got y'all first, but ask them. You know what I'm saying? And then I get a text message. Oh, they asking me for money. My nigga. I have
They actually should
4
have a whole
of them.
account set up or something, a card or something,
You
to
know,
where you know.
yeah, but it's like, I don't do a lot of complaining. I don't, I will never, and this on this platform is probably the only time that anyone will hear me verbally talk about the relationship between them, because I really put it out my head. And I have a mixture. Like I said, I have 3, so I have a mixture. Right. I have a wonderful, so I understand all aspects from all sides.
I will say, like with my stepson, I do promote for him to like call his other people though. Mm-hmm. Like call your granny, check up on her. Have you talked to your dad? You know what I'm saying? And right now, like his dad's not 100% there, but he's there. Like he know he can call him. And he will call him. So I do promote that side of it because I think it is very important for the children to know their other family. I grew up, my mom made sure that we went over to like my dad people house. She made sure, even though he wasn't around, like they love my mama like that's they real sister. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it is a place for that. It is healthy. I don't think that people should be where it's like, oh no, the kids shouldn't have to call you. No, I think that you should promote for them to actually reach out. They need to know that they can go to that other parent for anything that they need. Anything that they need. It don't necessarily have to be money. Because I tell my daughter, don't just call me for money.
Absolutely.
But you can call me for money though.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Call me, tell me how your grades are.
Right.
Tell me how your grades are. If you're going through something at school, if you're being bullied, I want you to be able to feel comfortable with coming to me and say, Daddy, this is what's going on. Because I might not know to ask certain questions. If everything just seems all right. I might not know to ask that. And sometimes you just got to push them to speak up on things like that.
Absolutely. And that's something, I definitely do. I definitely, and the oldest 2, they share the same dad, and this is the dad, but they share the same dad. And I always, even with my son is 17. Have you talked to your dad? Have you called your dad? Because again, I'm not going to be the one to contribute to tearing down your dad. He gonna do that on his own. You know what I'm saying? Even with the situation with my biological father, he did one of the probably worst things that he could probably do, and even still, my mother made sure that, did you talk to your dad? You know what I'm saying? Even though I have my thoughts about that. But I know that having that relationship with him in a time when I may have needed it would have been a lot more helpful to me as far as how I deal with men and things like that. So with that being said, I want to take a turn. Because we see often that with dating, and with dating women who are single mothers. I know that for me, I've heard a lot about one of the things that one of mine said to me was, nobody's ever going to want you. Not true.
Okay, so that depends on the situation. Because it's cool because I want the woman that I'm with to have kids, because then she understands what it's like when I have my kids, so she's not on my ass because I'm not on the phone with her when I got my kids. There is an asterisk to that. I got a whole story. Don't say shit. I felt his eyes roll. I felt his eyes roll. That's why I turned around.
And he did.
I got a baby mama. She ain't shit.
This one ain't got shit to do with the baby mama, but she's a baby mama, just not mine. But where was I going? Because that threw everything off. But I want her to have children because like that lets me know, you know what I'm saying? Like if you got kids and you got too much free time, that means either you don't give a shit about your kids or someone always has your kid. And I ain't fucking with that, because I ain't fucking with no woman ever again that does not have her child. You know what I'm saying? And I broke that one cardinal rule, and motherfucker, do I regret it right now?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
because I always say that if a woman actually loses custody of her child, baby,
I mean,
Baby, what are we doing?
I don't think it's no different than a dude losing custody. It's just the fact that the cards is already stacked in your favor.
Well,
So it
it's a little
seems.
bit-
So it
it's a little
seems
bit
is a little bit different.
It's
You
a
know
little
what I'm
bit. It's a
saying?
little bit different.
it is absolutely.
It's a little
But
bit different.
It is absolutely. It's
you know
absolutely different.
that
The system's already set up for the
yeah,
woman
that's what I'm
to
saying.
win.
Exactly.
It's kind of stacked in their favor.
Yeah.
Right. So for them to lose it,
Y-
you had to drop every fucking
If-
thing.
if
You
you're-
had-
if
really
you're
do gotta-
Wisconsin,
yeah, she really did have to drop the ball
absolutely.
all the way.
If
You need
you're
to get your name right.
Wisconsin, which
Right.
is a woman state,
or
Like, at least if you get the
or
name
dude
right,
just got a
like-
dope ass lawyer because my homeboy got his kids and I wouldn't say he had a bad baby mama. Dude just he lawyered the fuck up. Like and them
And I
lawyers
mean,
work that they work
yeah.
that work.
and it may just be a situation like I don't know. I know the situation that I know about personally. Um, sis wasn't right. Sis wasn't right. Sis was back paging it up and all that good
Ooh,
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so as
I can one say
having-
that like
and
they
yeah,
good mamas.
and so with looking at the way that my boyfriend, my guy, rest in peace, but looking at the way that he handled that situation and it was his daughters,
Mhm.
and how he got them, like literally, like I was just like, oh, okay, you got custody of your daughters, and he was raising them. But like I said, like as far as like, do any of you have?
Wait, hold on. I got your
Huh?
panties wet. that got your
Hey,
panties wet.
good fatherhood.
Hold on,
do
where the
that.
camera at? Where the camera at?
Hey, being a good daddy.
No, this one-
Sometimes you just got to be a good daddy.
Get
Sidebar
you.
though.
That's it.
Sidebar.
Nigga.
Fathers.
You heard it right here.
Fathers-
Take care of
fathers
your
are
kids.
sexy.
No,
And
no.
Take
fathers
care of
of
them
daughters. There's like it's something extra. It's a sensitivity and it's sexy. It
Okay, so I'm
definitely
gonna
is.
add a little sexiness to this right now because I gotta go because I do have my daughter this week. So
Okay.
Ooh.
All right. All
Okay,
right.
go be sexy.
let me walk up out here sexily.
Mic drop.
But no, there is when you see a man with it. Thank you. Happy Father's Day. But when you see a man interact with their daughter, it definitely gives a different type of vibe. When you see the father, because you have your boys and you can go out and you can play and you can jump and you can run, but then you have your daughter and she wants to paint your nails. She wants to color your tattoos. She wants to, you know what I'm saying? Like I just used to look, and when me and him got together, his daughter, his youngest one, she was 6. And I would, do her hair and stuff like that. And then I would just watch him as because he was a little, he was a little harsh. But when it came down to her, baby Mila, baby, it was literally, it was a puddle. He just melted. And that was so, I was just like, wow.
See, that's the exact reason why I
Nice.
pray to God not to have a daughter.
Huh? What'd you
No,
say?
no, I said that's the exact reason why I prayed to God not to have a daughter. Not so that I couldn't be soft. I just didn't want another human being having me that wrapped up. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I saw my cousins. I saw my
love
cousins who
it.
got daughters with
Yeah,
their
I love
daughters,
it.
Mhm.
and it was dope. It was
Mhm.
dope. But at that moment in time, I was just like, ain't no way. God said, God, I ain't built for it. I ain't built for it. I ain't built for it.
So let me ask you a question,
Uh-huh.
because you say you're not built for it, and this is a question that we've all heard. So would you want your daughter to date you?
Would I want my daughter to date me?
You.
A guy like me?
Mm-hmm.
The current me or the old me? Like you gotta be more specific because
Well, I would say we do need to be specific.
like so if you talk about
yeah.
the me prior to my last relationship, damn straight.
Okay.
Yes. The me now, hell no. Stay
I
the
love your
far
honesty.
stay far fucking away because the me now, unsure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't trust women's reasons for wanting to be with me and or talk to me. Like I just don't.
That's deep. I'm gonna have to have you on another show. You got a lot.
I got a lot going on where
Mhm.
I'm trying to still settle myself after 2 years out of a relationship
Mhm.
and rebuild my confidence and shit like that. So, nah, because the me now ain't ready for that all that shit. You know what I'm saying?
I
Like
love
the
honesty.
old me, hell yeah, like if you called me 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I'd be like, damn straight, hell yeah. Get you a me all day.
And I would say the complete opposite.
But even yet, and still, you said that you have a lot of circumstances or whatever going on. But even in that, the essence of who you are and your character should still be either a good person or
I'm a good
whatever.
person. I'm a good person, but I'm gonna be I'm harder. I'm harder on women and their reasonings for wanting to be with me than I used to be. You know what I'm saying? Before, like I was way more open. Now I'm way more closed off.
Have you thought about why that is? Is it
Oh
based
no,
on
no,
the
I know
certain-
exactly why it is. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to go too deep in the inner workings of
Right.
my last relationship, but it's a couple with that, couple with, you know what I'm saying, when I did put myself back into the dating pool, right? Women didn't understand, like, yo, I'm not gonna talk to you when I have my children. Like that, like I'm not. If you don't understand, like all those days I got my kids, that's our time. You can't interfere with that. And if you can't understand that, then I can't fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of time I run into that, or I run into women now who want, how can I put this without making women sound like, okay, they typically, women are more interested in smashing than growing together. That's what I've been running into a lot lately. Which, I mean, for some dudes that might be okay. For me, it's not. You know what I'm saying? Granted, if you own that and I'm on that, that's cool. But once I cut you off, don't get mad and say that I ain't shit, because that's all you really offer. If all you're gonna offer is pussy, that's all I'm gonna take.
I definitely want my daughter to date a man like me. In my past, of course not, but with where I've been and the work that I put in for the past 10 years, yes, most definitely. Which is why I believe that God opened up that door to where it is now. I believe during that 5 year gap after the divorce, no way. Which is why he didn't do it right away, but he allowed me that space to actually grow, to actually mature in a lot. So it changed. So I would definitely would want her to date a man like me or better.
I mean, for me, I guess is whether I want her to date a man like me or not. And at the end of the day, she's probably gonna pick somebody with my qualities because I'm who she see every day. Like I'm her example of a man already. So no matter how that lay out, good or bad, the guy's gonna have my qualities because that's who she see every single day. Right, the love that I give her mom, that's what she see. That's what she's gonna use as an example. So,
but like I get that. As the type of man that you are, though, I know that we all have an idea of who we want our children to be, to end up with, or what type of person. So is that something that the person that you are, would you, like for your daughter to be with somebody like you?
I mean, absolutely, because I think I'm the best person in the world.
I mean, and period.
I mean, I got my flaws and everything, but me as as a man and who I am, and the goals that I have, absolutely, I would want my daughter to find somebody with the same type of ambition to want to grow and be better every day. So absolutely.
What about you?
The best version of me, yeah. Like you said, I mean, we all got our flaws. There's certain things that I would tell her to not put up with.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But, all of us, we wouldn't be here if we weren't good men. We probably wouldn't even be sitting in these seats right now. So I think we all look at it ourselves like, we can definitely raise children, right? And all this type of stuff. So I would love for my daughter to date somebody like me.
And I love that. I love that, that you all are great daddies. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that you fought for your children. You had some.
Oh, I was gonna ask. Finish your thought. You good? So I was gonna ask, how do you guys feel about being a stepfather, or have you had any like positive or negative experiences with that at all?
My current situation is like that with the step kids, and for me, I treat them like my own. That's it. There's really no difference pour into the girl just as much as I do my daughter. Same thing with the son. Teach him, how to be a man, etc. And it's working out very well. I say this very often to a lot of people that know me. When it comes to being father, that's the most confident area that I'm confident in. As far as me being a man, I'm still growing in that area. As far as me being a husband before, I know what I'm supposed to be, what I'm saying, the second time around. But when it comes to a father, there ain't no question and no doubt for me. Like, that's my position. Like, that's what I'm made for. And the people around me can actually contest to that as well. So definitely.
No, I mean, I'm cool with being a stepdaddy. Like, actually, from my last relationship, I actually miss my stepdaughter. You know what I'm saying? But I can't be in her life. She got a whole nother father. You know what I'm saying? Her mama don't want me there, so I can't be there. But like, I hope that I made a positive impact on her, because I mean, when I got into her life, her grades were bad. She was failing. You know what I'm saying? School, like, and I put her on that track to where, like, one day I had to let her know, like, dude, you're not dumb.
Right.
I said, I see you. You're not dumb. I said, to be honest, the kids in the school, they talking all crazy about your grades and stuff, but really, you passed every test you took. Right. The only reason why you getting bad grades is because you're not turning in your homework. I said, I'm gonna ride you until you turn your homework in. I said, but also at the same time, when those grades go well, me and you finna have a ball. We finna celebrate. We're gonna celebrate because I know you can do it. And the moment she came home, she went from a 1.8 to a 3.8 in one semester.
That's what's up.
In one semester, and I was never. I was so proud. She was like, "But you don't do Xavier like that." I was like, "No, I'm actually harder on him." Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I said, with you, like, no, like, I'll give you a punishment and you own it for 5 hours. I'll give him a punishment. He owned the entire punishment for the entire time.
Right.
I said, you got an advantage over my son that he doesn't have. And she said, what is that? I said, you get me every day. He don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm here every day. I get to see you when you leave for school. Mm-hmm. I get to see you when you come in. I get to help you with your homework. I don't get to do that with him all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like I got to go get him to go do that. Mm-hmm. You right here with me. So it's a big difference.
So with that, and I'm glad you asked that question, because we look at a lot of the kids that are not ours. As a mother, there's a lot of things that I see that I want to do with children. Whether it comes down to, me offering some type of cooking classes or, etiquette class or something like that, which I've always wanted to do. However, as men, and fathers, what are your thoughts about seeing, like, when you see, these boys out here, terrorizing, like, what are your thoughts about, do you ever think about how can I step in? What can I do?
Yeah, so I'm gonna talk to him. I'm gonna pass the mic to him. I work with Andre. Do y'all know who Andre Lee Ellis is? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I work with Andre Lee Ellis. Mm-hmm. And actually he would be mad that I just said, to be honest with you, I work with him at the cage, so community agriculture growing experiences, and we deal with young men that have had those issues, and the young men that we work with are awesome young men. It's not that they're bad or anything. Sometimes they just need a daddy, they need an uncle, they need that father figure. And the great thing is that we get them out the system. Mm-hmm. We teach them how to, we teach them how to garden, we teach them how to farm, we teach them hydroponics.
Oh, that's so dope.
You know what I'm saying? And they fall in love with me. Mm-hmm. Pop said one thing, and I call him Pops. I call him Dad. Like he's not my biological father, but like he's been there. Mm-hmm. And he said something. If we can keep their hands in the soil, we can keep them off the trigger of a gun. And I wholly believe that, because what I'm doing right now, along with doing that, I'm developing a youth program. A lot of these kids, they love writing. Some of them are poets, some of them are dancers, some of them are, hip hop artists. They sing, they write, they do a lot of things. So they don't have those programs available to them, right? So we create those avenues, because if they got their head in a notebook and they got a pen in their hand, they don't got time to drop a stoli. They're gonna be like, oh man, I gotta be at the studio. No, man, we got a poetry slam coming up. No, we got practice. We got this. That's going to take them out of there. We got to give them other options.
Absolutely.
So when you thinking about, yeah, man, I wish I could step in. You can step in. It just depends on what you're trying to do. You can't run up on them while they're still in the car, but you can create a program and get the information out there for them to be a part of it.
Absolutely.
And
that's something I saw one of my Facebook friends, he posed a question, something to that, like, how can we help? What can we do? And I commented and I said, the post has 100 and something comments, and they were all wonderful. They were all great, but there was literally nothing or nobody that said, I'm finna have a meeting on Wednesday at 7:00 at this location. This is what the plan is. Come here if you want to be a part of it. There was nothing like that. And so I believe wholeheartedly that if we, and then there were other comments that said, oh, they're already too far gone. But I believe exactly what you said. If you give them something else to do, and I think that with us, like as we grew up in school, we had all these different programs that we can get ourselves involved in. I remember when they took driver's ed out of schools, the first thing I said was, this is going to go to hell in a handbasket very, very quickly, because these kids are going to be out here driving like they bat out of hell. And exactly what happened. So it's like they took away the programs and the things that actually gauged our kids' interest. You know what I'm saying? So how could our children they don't have shit to do. So I feel like we have to create those type of programs in order to get them. And my daughter, she goes to Golda Meir. And she said to me, man, mama, I wish they had a program that taught us how to cook. And I looked at her and I said, you know your mama cater, you know your mama cook. I'm going to look into that and see if that's something that I can get into and possibly go into the schools and do an after school program. Go ahead.
I wouldn't even say don't worry about getting into the school.
Mm-hmm.
Program first.
Mm-hmm.
Go develop your 501. Go develop your 501c3.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And once you get it out there, then you go into the schools.
Right.
You get to a point where you got it. You got advertising in the schools. Post it up, and the kids can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Flyers, commercial flyers, things like that, so that when the parents get these things, especially just free to the kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they do it. Now that's something that that parent that probably got to work 2 jobs over my baby over here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And for a city of this size, we need more than just one program.
Absolutely.
There are people that are doing it.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, there's not enough programs out there.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta think. Like there's more elementary schools than there are middle schools. There's more middle schools than there are high schools. And there's more high schools than there are colleges, and it's designed for a reason.
Get the mic.
Because when classes are smaller, the children get, better retention, right? So what we need more people who want to be involved instead of looking for other people to do it.
Right.
Get off their ass and do it. Like people like the Fatherhood Initiative, like without that, there'll be fathers without it, but we need more programs like that for men. You know what I'm saying? There's a bunch of programs for a lot of stuff, but if you notice, the people that are on the back end of the burner are men and children. You know what I'm saying? So you got a ton of programs for older people. You got a ton of programs for women. You got minority things, but you don't have anything specifically aimed at children. You don't have anything specifically aimed. Well, not a lot of things specifically aimed at children. Not a lot of things specifically aimed at men. So now people are trying to scratch their heads like, man, so this dude wants to do good, but how can we get him to a point to where he's doing good? Right. All these kids want to do good, but how can we get them there? You know what I'm saying? We're looking externally for the help when we need to be looking internally for the solutions.
Absolutely. Did you have something you had to say?
I think y'all pointing out it's a structure issue. It's a structure issue. There's no one that provides that structure to set it up, execute it. That's what we're looking at right here. And on top of that, we have to reach the kids and actually find out what their interest. Like you said, your daughter said something about cooking specifically, but we can go out here and ask some of these kids, and they don't know what they're interested in. And so, you know what I'm saying?
Right. They don't know. I agree with that to a point. Because I believe that they know what they like. And a lot of times we don't give our children enough credit for what they do know. Our children absolutely know what they want. I have a daughter who at 16 years old, she works in a shop. She has her own suite. She at 16 years old, she has owned 2 businesses. So she absolutely knows what she wants. And she started that business at 12, the first one. So she absolutely knows what she wants. At 12 years old, she said, you know what? If I make 100 lip glosses, I can get $100. And it was born. And from there, it went on. So she knew at that point, she knew I want to make some money. But then she said, you know what? I don't want to do lip glosses no more. I want to braid hair. I need to figure out how to braid hair. So she knew what she wanted. But then on the flip side, I have 2 boys, 2 teenagers. The little one, he 9, so he just all over the place. But I have 2 boys. And I have a 17 and I have a 15-year-old. And at this point, I'm scratching my head because I'm saying the same thing. Like, well, what the hell do you want to do? You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, yeah,
I'm talking about those specific situations, because we got. I mean, all the kids want to make money, all of them. You know what I'm saying? It's just they don't know how to materialize that sometimes.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I think, I think, like you said, though, a lot of those options were taken out of schools for kids to really understand and pique their interest. So you know, all they have now are the school books, and then after 3:00 now, they're on their own to figure out what's going on. You know, because a lot of the parents are now, you know, they got to work 2 jobs, so they're not there when the kids get home from school. So, you know, for me personally, my mom worked 2 jobs growing up. So when I got home at 3:30, call moms, let her know I'm home. Call pops, let him know I'm home, and then it's me until 5, 6 o'clock. You know what I mean? So, but fortunately, I had older sisters, and I had, you know, a village to grow up with. You don't get that no more. You know?
Right.
Kids are afraid to go outside. You can't go outside and be a kid no more.
Man.
I mean, also part of that too, like, because I do agree, and I disagree a little bit, because when you actually sit these boys down and when you get them to open up, because one of the boys that I work with, I'm not going to say his name, but he got something happened in school, you know, over a girl, some shit happened. He got shot at, he shot back. You know what I'm saying? And you know, when I was first talking to him, tight lip. Oh no. But after talking to him, like, yeah, man, you know, I like to rap, I write, I do this, I do that. You know, I'm interested in this and this and that and the third, right? Then they open up, but you really got to show them that you give a fuck.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, you know, if they feel like you don't give a fuck or they feel you too busy, they're like, well, shit, if I tell them anyways, what they gonna do? How you gonna help me? You know, because they at that age where they starting to question things and they starting to think, right? As part of, you know, with the village go, that we don't see that, but sometimes we do see like negative effects on the village, where the kid they might got that uncle, they might got that auntie, they might got a big brother, they might got a big sister, right? You know what I'm saying? But what is big mom? You know what I'm saying? What is mama doing? What is bro doing? What is sis doing? You know, like a lot of time, like the first person who put a gun in my hand was a family member. The first person who put a blunt in my hand was a family member. You know what I'm saying? The first person who told me to go Jay a girl when I was like 12 was a family member. You know what I'm saying? So
Jay a girl.
I'm just being honest. Like I'm giving it like it was. You know what I'm saying? Like so you're influenced by your environment as well. So not only that, we got to figure out, you know what I'm saying? Like, all right, cool. You're in this environment. You really not cool in it, but you're adapting to it.
Right.
Like I go to Evolve Church and PK said something, Pastor King said something that was like mind blowing to me at the time. Right. And it's something that I knew, but it never really registered to apply to my life. That when you apply something into a toxic environment, only 2 things happen. One, it either dies in that environment, or 2, it adapts to that environment and becomes toxic itself.
Right.
Right. So what happens is typically we grow up in toxic environments. We're growing up in toxic environments. We become toxic ourselves, and we begin to destroy and infect everything else around us. It's kind of like if you put a rotten apple next to good apples. I hate to use the term, you know what I'm saying? One bad apple spoiled a whole bunch, but that's a it literally happens.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that literally explains what's happening in our society right now. In regards to a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So just as a father, those are the things that I think about. I'm like, dang. So how can I help my community that I was once a pariah to, right? Two, and how can I help young men heal and young women heal, in a manner in which that's going to be healthy for them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And how can we facilitate that? So those are the things that I think about, because like if your home environment is toxic, right, the things that you do outside of it can't be.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And we got to find ways to get them into that, because the first person I got drunk with was a cousin. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't a friend.
Right.
It was a cousin.
Right.
Like, man, drink this. Like, man, I don't drink. I'm 17 and I play football. I don't smoke. I'm 17 and I play football. Right. You know what I'm saying? No, go ahead. You know what I'm saying? Then after a while, you want to be cool with your big cousin. You want to be cool with your auntie or your uncle or whoever. So I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Now it becomes a part of your life. It becomes a part of your routine.
And I think that's the first thing. That's literally the first step. Is that we have to look within ourselves when we are and be honest with ourselves when we're dealing with children. And I don't give a damn how old they is. Like I told my son, when you get goddamn 18, you still a child. Oh, I'm gonna be able to go outside. No, the hell you're not. You're not going outside when you want to and stand all out, and you can't do that.
I think
you're not ready.
That's a problem in the Black community as a whole. Oh, you 18, you grown now.
No.
Damn. Yeah, and like your brain not even developed yet
until 25
years old.
Like your brain is still developing all this time, and yet still, we are taught as a community, 18, you grown now.
Yeah,
get out the house.
Literally, we're the only ones that do that.
Yeah,
when you look at Indian families, their children stay in that home until they're getting ready to get married. Why? Because when that woman leaves the house, she knows how to wash clothes, she knows how to cook, she knows how to clean, she knows how to do all that stuff that requires her to be a wife. When that man leaves the house, he knows how to pay bills. He knows how to provide all of that good stuff. But it's only us. And I said that before. I'm not kicking my kids out of 18. And God damn it, listen, if you're not, I'm going to prepare you. I'm going to try my best to prepare you. And I'm not going to hold you back. And I'm not going to stifle you. However, baby.
But we the only people also that glorify, like they, I won't say glorify, that make fun of those people that stay in it. Like you hear it in songs. Oh yeah, like you 21, you still in your mama's house. You know what I'm saying? Like you could be 21 living at your mama's crib, building your credit. You know what I'm saying? In college, saving, stacking to buy a crib. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Instead of going out there and trying to figure out what the hell you finna do with yourself.
What's the other side?
My philosophy is, and it don't have to be right away when you're 18, but I feel like every child or young adult should leave home for a certain period of time. It don't have to be long, and we can do things.
No, fam, because once you leave, you're not coming back.
And see, that's the thing. Because to me, you can always come back home. You can always come back home, even if it takes for us to, set them up for 6 months worth of expenses, a year worth of expenses, if that's what they choose to do. But going out there and experiencing the world without mommy and daddy, I think that is a very important thing to do.
But that's two different things, though. That's two different things, because whereas for me, for me, I want my kids to but that does not mean that you're actually kicking them out at 18 and saying you gotta go. What that's saying is that I want you to experience what life has for you. I want you to, like I told my children, if you would like to, you can stay home. But when you're staying home, if you stay home until you're 26 years old, when you leave, that means that you're ready to leave. That means that you will not be coming back here because we have prepared you to leave. So you don't have to come back. If you have to come back because I'm mama and I'm mama bear, absolutely. Come on back. However, you ain't gonna keep coming back. That's not gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? So I want to make sure that my children are fully prepared. I want them to experience life. If you decide you want to go to college. College is not for everyone. Per- Personally, I don't want them to go to college.
I,
Go get a trade.
I
Do
mean,
that.
no, you learn. So like sometimes going to college isn't really all about the education.
It's
One,
about the experience. I wish I
it's
would have
about
went
the
to college.
experience. Two,
Mhm.
it's also about networking. You
Mhm.
know, and then you gain
Mhm.
a lot of life skills. Like when you go to
Mhm.
college, like
Yeah.
like can I say did I graduate? Hell no. Like, but yeah, I was on my Kanye West shit. But at the same time, like I made a ton of connections,
Mhm.
right? It also expanded my realm of understanding of people
Yes.
because you get to meet more than just what you grew up with.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So you learn how to interact and move with different people. You learn how to talk to. I thought all like before I went to college, I thought all white folks was the same,
Mhm.
like dead ass. Like I genuinely thought all white folks was the same.
Mhm.
Found out that they not. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like I thought all black folks was the same because of what I grew up around. I found out that real quick that all skin folk ain't kin folk.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
even some people that are skin folk that might be kin folks just might not be your kin folk.
Mhm.
So like it teaches you how to move and operate in different situations.
Mhm.
You know, it also gives you some sense of regimen when you're not at home. You know what I mean? You become more regimented because you gotta
Absolutely.
regulate yourself.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
You gotta have that responsibility.
So I do think that people should go to college. I don't think that you always need to necessarily go for education. Go take the liberal arts class and go live on campus
Mhm.
for a year just to see what it's like.
Right.
Understand what it's like to have to pay some bills on your own.
Mhm.
Yeah, are you gonna be paying with my money 9 times out of 10? Hell yeah. Hell
Right.
yeah.
Right. Right.
But
Right. But you still getting it.
you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But you're understanding what that's like.
Right.
Cause I'm gonna give you X amount of money and this is what you got to budget on.
Mhm.
Cause if you go outside of that, nigga, you ain't getting shit.
Right.
Like
Right.
for real. Like
Mhm.
I do that to my oldest son right now. Like, man, listen, you get an allowance,
Mhm.
and once you go over that or you spend that, you ain't get no more until it's time for you to get allowance again. So he done got to the point to where he 13. This dude know how to hold on his money better than I do.
Listen. And
Like
I
for
love
real.
that. I love it. I love it when I get a text message and say, can I give you $50 in cash and then you cash at me? Absolutely. Thank you.
You know what I'm saying?
We can
So
do that exchange.
so those are the things like I talk about like setting up your child. Like so like I'm with you on that.
Mhm.
Like cause if my sons want to come and live with me, I ain't cool, little buddy. You know what I'm saying? The only person in this house getting cutty in the house gonna be me. Cause you ain't
Oh,
gonna
that's
be
the number one rule. Nobody busting that over here but me.
you
Okay.
can go somewhere else and do it, but you ain't gonna do it under my roof.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But like I do believe like you longer the leash. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
okay, like you 22. Like I understand you want to be out with your friends. Just don't come up in here like 5 o'clock in the morning being loud.
Right.
Uh,
And my
uh, uh,
17-year like, yeah, I'm gonna be able to, I'll be 18 next year. You know, I can go outside all I want and I can do this and I can stay out all night. No, the
hey,
fuck you won't.
they quickly found out it ain't shit outside for an 18-year-old, bro.
Like, fam, you don't even do anything now. Like, you be in your room. Like, I could not see you for like 2 days. It's summertime now. Like, yeah, I have to go and unlock his door with the butter knife. Like, hey, you here? Did you sneak out the window or something? Like, yeah, you ain't moving nowhere at 18. You gonna be right here.
Yeah. As a parent of a 22 and 23-year-old, well, no, 21. How old are they? 21 and 22. My daughter will be 22 next month. And they are actually at that stage now, preparing to, fly away. And so it can actually be kind of scary as a parent. So I'm definitely not in a rush, to do that or whatever. But yeah, as long as you have a plan, like it's not like, hey, you have to get out at this age, just a plan. And if you feel like you are well equipped, then you go about your way, So
Big firm believer in teaching your children before you put them out.
absolutely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Got to teach them before they come out. So before we end, first of all, I just want to thank you guys again, for coming onto the show. Like, I really appreciate it. This was an awesome conversation. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So I thank y'all so much, so much. Really quick before we end though, I would like for, like, what is the best thing about being a dad to you? If you could narrow one thing down about being the best thing about being a dad.
I just like seeing them grow. Honestly, like, I can look at my kids and be like, I really created this person. Just having that unconditional love, like, to feel that, like, that's the best portion of, because I could be so upset, come out in the world, and I come home, I look at my daughter, I'll be like, come on, Jew. Let's go watch a movie or something. So it's just, I think it's the unconditional love portion for me.
For me, it's being able to experience, black girl joy from a third party, being able to witness that and be like, I gave her that, right? I took my daughter to Peppa Pig World for her birthday, and like, just being able to see her excited and really enjoy that moment. And we watched the videos back together, and she's like, "Oh my God, I love Peppa Pig World." And like, just being able to know I gave her that feeling, that's, for me, that's the best part of everything.
Oh, that is so wonderful. And you like, little do you know, she's gonna remember that in those moments. And you're literally setting the stage for how she and what she expects from a man. Go ahead.
For me, one of the main things was to give my children identity. That's the biggest absentee when it comes to fathers nowadays, in terms of, you have now fathers in the home that actually not invested into their kids. Something that God had showed me is that the first thing that he allowed men to have was the power to give identity. After he made Adam, he gave Adam charge and authority to give everything that he just created the identity, even women. And with that, it's power in that. Oftentimes, like, kids, they challenge with not knowing who they are. And it's hard when you don't have the fathers in the home. Remember back then when fathers was in the home effectively, we had Martin Luther's, we had Malcolm X's, we had men who were men, men who was fighting, men who was doing what they had to do, the way it's supposed to be done as a man. And now with the absentee of the father in terms of the effect, the investment, they don't have those role models anymore. You know what I'm saying? To the point to where they're in their lives. Like he said, family is going to get you first. Those are your first examples, and they're an extension of your home. If you around the influence, you're affected, and they will give that identity. And in me knowing that if I don't give my child identity, the world will. Absolutely. And I'd rather that I do it. So that's the joy that I see the most out of that, that I can leave a legacy, that I can say, they passing that on. So
that's powerful. That's absolutely powerful.
Yeah, they said what I was going to say. I mean, I don't have a daughter, so I can't give her black girl joy. But the biggest thing for me is all those little moments. So like, the craziest thing is like watching my sons grow up. Like one day, like I'll look, and then the next day I'll looking like they done got taller. They done learned something new. My 3-year-old who's autistic, just hearing him talk now for me is the joy. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't know he knew how to say orange. Like he was saying orange the whole day. He can count.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So those are the things that bring me joy. When it was with my oldest son, it was watching him mimic me. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I got to be real careful. You know what I'm saying? Because like I have this effect on him. He sit like me. He talk like me. He would walk around and brush his head because he see me doing my waves. Like, okay, that's cool. Like I've had that. You know what I'm saying? So it's really just making sure that they there. That's what makes me happy. Just seeing them be them, right? And fostering who they are. You know what I'm saying? Like my son is a geek and I love it. I'm never gonna tell him he a nerd. Like you
Right.
the coolest dude in the world. I don't care what nobody
Absolutely.
say. You cool, you handsome, you look good. Like don't make me a young granddaddy. You
Right.
know what I'm
Right.
saying? You know what I'm saying? Like I want to be a granddaddy, just not when I'm 50. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
Right.
so those are the things that make me happy
Mhm.
because those times are the most precious to me.
Mhm. Mhm. And that is so, that's so beautiful, and I think that um that's a good way to end it, because I think that among all of you all basically, and you nailed it on the head, Ty, when you said, you are basically giving your child the identity, like you're
Mm-hmm.
forming who your child is and what they think. And I think that as Black fathers, that's really not a light job. That's not something that you all should take lightly. As a mother, I can nurture, I can, I can mama my babies, I can, and all of that. But I can even instill a little bit, into them to try to mold who they are. But especially with my boys, so I absolutely applaud you, gentlemen. Like, I love y'all. And I love what you all are doing with your children, and also, in the community, the reach that you have. Never underestimate the reach that you have with our kids, and regardless if it's somebody that's biologically, if you see, I challenge, if you see a young man out in the street, or even a young woman, as us, as women, and we see something that we, hey, pull your pants, something like, I don't know, but something that we can start planting the seeds in these kids' heads, and saying, hey, I love you. Even if it's just that, I got you, don't worry about it. But thank y'all again so much for joining us. Those that have joined us and are watching, I so appreciate y'all. See you next time. Peace out.